Reality check with Reese and Rich. That's Rich, I'm Rich. Listen, we're having some fun today. Different topics. As usual. I wanted to kind of kick off by doubling back and talking about some things. So we were discussing NIL. And my first thought with the NIL was, how is it going to change recruiting? You explained a lot of that to us. So speaking of recruiting, speaking of Ohio State, Ohio State, once again, top 3 recruiting class in the country. Mm-hmm. Once again, all this 5-star, 4-star, everybody's got more stars than Hollywood. What's going to happen with all of these kids crammed into this pipeline? So you got defensive end Jack Sawyer, #1 defensive end recruit. You got this big kid they just signed, JT Tomalialu, from Oregon. You got that many syllables in your name, you're going to be a beast. Yeah. It took them like 3 different visits to get him nailed down, to convince him. Larry Johnson Sr., best D-line coach in the country, went out there and sealed the deal like he always does. Like, you know, you're talking about a school or a guy that's got Bosa's and Chase Young, both Bosa's. Yes. This dude is a premier recruiter in the country, and I love it. And what this has brought you now is a whole new crop of talent to Ohio State. I want to make sure our Buckeye fans are excited about this. You guys be excited because this is a big deal to have this much talent. But Buckeye fans, something you guys always do, you get all these young players, and then the first thing, they all want to see them right away. Y'all forget there's some juniors and seniors on this roster that have been putting in the work for 2-3 years that are waiting to get a chance on the field. If you're Ryan Day, what's your thought process on young talent versus making sure the guys that have put the work in get opportunity? Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I went through that. Why do you think I asked you? You was the asshole coming in like, I need your job. And them guys been waiting to get a crack at this at running back for a minute now. No, I always go like this, man. The best person should play, right? But what the older guys do who are bought into the program, what I mean bought in, it means, you know, showing up on time, doing all your weightlifting sessions, understanding your assignments when they're asked to understand your assignments and who could make a legitimate impact on the field. You have to give those guys an opportunity to go out there and transition. Yes. Defense is a little bit easier to work guys in because there's constant rotations, there's constant, there's different sets and different teams of people that you can put on the field. Absolutely. On a consistent different basis, packages. Right? You got a lot of different packages. Different packages. That's the word I was looking for, right? Offense based on the position, and I'm talking about quarterback in particular. That's a little bit hard because that's really like we're looking for one person to lead the ship, right? And you kind of sort stability. That. Yeah, and you kind of sort that out over the first few games because you need the leader for offense. Even running back to a large degree, running backs, they're interchangeable for the most part. It used to be like one guy kind of leads the way and that's who we're rocking with and that's our guy. But if you have a couple good guys, you know, they'll get their turn and burn as you go. But, like we saw in the playoffs with Trey Sermon and Master Teague, you know, one guy either goes down or gets tired, backup comes in and made a big name for himself. But I'll say this, and this is how I felt about Ohio State and how they, great recruiting could be hurting you deep in the season or in the long run. And this is what I say. Right? Like you get top heavy? Yeah, so you get very good guys. You get 5 stars who then intimidate 3 stars to come. A guy could be a 3-star athlete in high school, but just doesn't have the correct development or programming or coaching in high school. This guy. And they end up developing into a great collegiate player. And I've seen how you're talking about right now. You get, you may go get these SEC schools. And these guys don't necessarily recruit all 5-star guys, but they'll recruit great hogs. I'm thinking about defensive linemen. They'll recruit these big, husky guys, strong, aggressive, who just may need great weight rooms. They may need the right dieting program. They need some resources. They need some resources. And then when you get deep into the season, if player 1 goes down, player 2 isn't that far off, or player 3 isn't that far off, right? Yeah. And so, or when you're just rotating or guys get tired, Ohio State has gotten their ass kicked from there being a huge fall off from great recruit to person who's behind them. When the Chase Young goes down, there's no guy even close to being that good to come in and give you that production. And a lot of your scheming or your planning is built around these major factors. These superstars. Yes. So for me, great recruiting, like that's cool because you want these dominant players. But how do you convince the guy who's a 3-star who still wants to play
and wants to be on a college team because he's probably getting an offer from Tennessee, from Kentucky, from Cincinnati. I still need that guy in my fold because Ohio State's going to the Final Four every year.
Absolutely.
We're going to be playing there. You have to prepare those guys because those guys are who hold you up. I'll give you a prime example. When we played, this is like a little bit of history. So you have a Will Smith, but then you have a Darian Scott, a Tim Anderson, you have a Dave Thompson, and guys who aren't too far. They're not Will Smith.
Sure.
But you're going to get great production out of these guys who are right behind them.
They can play.
They can play. Man, when we fell off, and I'm talking about Ohio State, when they fell off from their top tier guys, from your Bosa's, from your Chase Youngs, even from, I felt like, the kid Wade may have suffered from that from a defensive backfield. You have...
Because you lose two top guys, corners in the draft, and Arnett, and before that it was Conley, a couple others.
Do you hear where I'm coming from now?
Now you go from being a slot guy away to being, now you're the number one guy.
And you have so much support.
Yeah.
You have so much, so if you have this guy who's a first rounder, this guy who's a first rounder, the guy behind you is a first rounder.
Yeah, you look great.
You have so much support. You're guarding the third guy. The quarterback's looking off to his first option. He's throwing to the third option. He's throwing late. He has pressure on him. Come on. You know where I'm coming from? And so, it's cool. If it's me and I'm in college, I'm building a team, I'm going to say, we want these top tier guys, right? But I'm not building a program around super top tier, super high level guys. I'm going to chase your eights. I'm going to chase an 8 and develop an 8 into a 10. I'm not going to chase a 10. You can chase a 10 and it's flash in the pan, but then once he's gone, where are you at, right? If you go chase 8s consistently and you have a program of coaches to build these 8s to 10s, over 7, 8, 9 years, you're just going to have a better program. If you look at Alabama, bro, Alabama is the program that gets 8s and turns into 10s. They get 9s and turn into 10s. You know what I'm saying? You go look at their quarterbacks. You go look at those guys. You go look at their offensive linemen. Yeah. These ain't super 5-star guys that they're getting. They have solid recruiting classes. And that's just how I feel. And obviously,
what you're kind of saying, just because I love basketball analogies. You're kind of saying Ohio State's kind of like your Lakers, where they got AD and Bron, whereas Bama or some of the other teams might be more like the Phoenix Suns, where they don't have a guy, AD or Bron, but they got 5 to 8 guys that'll bust your ass and that can still ball. And I think it's the same exact thing.
What happens when Bron and AD goes down?
They out in the first round, gone.
What happens when James Harden, Kyrie go down?
It's a wrap. They can't make it.
Do you hear where I'm coming from?
Distance. And
go look at Milwaukee's team and look at the Phoenix Suns team. You can Greek Freak. You can say, okay, he's premier. You can say Devin Booker, but most of them dudes are just like great, solid, good role players. Come on, man. I would build my team like that.
I would have to say that's the thing that has really weakened Ohio State. It's not their 1 through 22. It's that 22 through 44. When the second unit's got to come on or a guy gets injured. Thankfully last year Justin Fields played the whole. But even a couple plays he had to come out, we were kind of like, man, who do we really have coming in that's gonna do it? If something happens to this dude, we're in a lot of trouble. So Ohio State really has to make sure that those coaches, and they do a great job coaching. We have some fantastic coaches at Ohio State. Shout out Brian Hartline too, former Buckeye brother of ours.
He's been doing an awesome job,
killing it in recruiting, bringing in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mecca Edge. All these guys, by the way, the top wide receiver recruits in the country. But if one of these top guys goes down, you want to make sure these coaches have that middle of the pack group primed and ready to rock and developed. Develop talent, because there's one thing I've noticed about Ohio State, I'd say the last 6 seasons or so, when you look at the draft, we'll have a couple guys in the first round. Mm-hmm. But when you look at, like you said, schools like Bama, they'll have a couple guys in every single round, all the way down to 7, because they're kind of deep when it comes to their development.
And I can go get me a decent player from Bama who's going to outperform or be just as good as somebody else's first rounder. And that's the fact, bro.
So listen, again, last episode we discussed a little bit briefly Mayweather, and you were talking about his business model, and we were just talking about the fight game. Have you noticed, and I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but you're Jake or Logan Paul, like these YouTuber dudes, that are creating these celebrity fight clubs almost and setting up these premier fights between unskilled, unprofessional, just people that are famous are actually generating more revenue than professional seasoned boxers who are fighting on Showtime or fighting, HBO. These guys, you can make more money now being a YouTuber fighting than you can being a pro boxer fighting. What the hell has happened in the fight game?
So what do I always tell you? Your perspective will go how you originally categorize something. It's not boxing, it's entertainment.
It's entertainment, you're right.
It's entertainment, right? So the boxer gets mad because he's looking at a guy box, but he's not a boxer, but he's viewing it the wrong way. He's totally missing the whole point. He needs to go back and look at ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and every CNN and a television network. Social media, let me just say it like this. Social media is your personal television network. You are a network. And if you view it any other way than that, if you're in sports or entertainment, you're delusional. You have people who will say, hey, let me sit and watch your television show, your reality show. I don't care if you're boxing. I don't care if you're playing flag football. I don't care if you're doing whatever it is you're doing. If you have something engaging to people that is entertaining and that they like, they'll do it. Everybody loves a good fight.
Man, don't they?
Everybody loves to see.
World Star taught us that. Everybody loves to see somebody get their ass whooped.
Yes.
I will stop scrolling for a good 30 to a minute and a half to watch somebody get their ass whooped in any situation. Watch a fight.
Yes. People want to see things that they don't typically see. I'll go to a talk and I'll have a discussion about something, and there's always people in the crowd who will ask me about prison. Why do people care about prison? Because you don't see it. You don't have access to it.
Correct. If there was a prison reality show, not like MSNBC, but like really, we'd all be like, what's going on in there?
What is going on? That's why people are intrigued. And so these people know Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they've built a fan base. They've built people who will tune in. Yeah. And they said, let me go troll somebody. I troll Jay Richardson. Okay, let's fight.
I'll whoop Jake Paul.
Okay. But you hear where I'm coming from. So then that's how it happens. That's how it starts. And then these guys say, okay, let me do it. And so when the fighters get mad at these guys, I don't, this is my opinion. I don't necessarily like it because it comes from a jealous place. Yeah. And you can't say this guy doesn't deserve to make that because he doesn't box. It's really, here we go. It comes
They deserve to make whatever someone's willing to pay them, first of all.
Yes. If you create something for yourself and people tune in, whether you like it or not, you don't have to have an opinion on it. If this guy does what you does and he makes a gargantuan amount of money and you don't, that's just what it is, bro. Don't be jealous of somebody. And I'll leave it at that.
No. I'll say folks that are saying, yeah, but it's messing up the fight game. It's messing up the purity of boxing. It's not boxing. It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Jake Paul didn't go into a boxing sanctioned fight and mess up the game. He went into a ring he made. He built and created and said, come watch me fight. And people are just... It's basically no different than back in the day when we would watch footage of Kimbo slicing them in them backyard brawls.
Yes.
They took that spirit and said, we're going to add a ring, go rent out somebody's stadium, and go set up some TV deals and call up pay-per-view and say, hey, can we split the ticket gate? Mm-hmm. And I bet you I can get 5 million people to watch this.
Here we go. 1 billion%. You know what it's easier to criticize than you to say, hey, Logan Paul, can you manage me? Hey, Jake Paul, can you manage me?
Yeah.
I obviously don't know how this works.
Hey, Floyd Mayweather, can you manage me?
What did Gervonta Davis go do? You've figured out how to make $300 million in one night. Instead of me hating on Logan Paul. So if Logan Paul came down here right now, I say, yo, bro, how do you do that?
Yeah.
If you figure it out, let me give you 15%. Study these guys.
Exactly.
And figure out what they've done. You may think he's cheesy. You may think he's corny. You may think he's lame. You may think he's trolling. You may think he's goofy. You may think he's everything. The bottom line in business is the bottom line. He puts butts in the seats. He keeps people watching him, and he keeps it going. And that's the bottom line. That's just my
If your goal in boxing is to make money, man, if I'm Anthony Joshua, if I'm Tyson Fury, if I'm Deontay Wilder, I'm calling up Floyd, I'm calling up Logan, all of them. Hey, how can I get involved? Tell me your model. What do y'all want to do? Can y'all want y'all manage me?
What could I do?
What could I be doing differently right now to build my platform to be able to generate that kind of revenue in the fight?
Here we go. After I get out of my contract, is there some business that we can do with one another?
Yeah.
since you have 25 million fans, can you put on a show and can I be on your undercard and can we get money together? You hear where I'm coming from?
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, look at some of these numbers, man. Jake Paul fought former MMA fighter Ben Askren, right? And he just called him out. Ben Askren was fresh off the couch, had a belly. And he like, man, you an MMA fighter. I'm an amateur boxer, not even really amateur. I'm just messing around training. But I'm a big, YouTuber. I got a huge following. Let's fight it out. He actually knocked Ben Askren out. But the point is that fight made $75 million. Like, boom.
I didn't know.
75 M's, just like that. So Floyd saw that, was like, they got something going on over there. Logan Paul, next thing you know, starts trolling Floyd, and Floyd was like kind of going back and forth. And I'm like, is Floyd really considering this? Or is he met? 2 months later, they got a fight set up.
Yeah.
That fight generated well over, just for Logan, just for Logan and his little cut of the door, whatever, the purse, I think he made like another $5 million off of it, but he was guaranteed $1 million, made another $5 million. I think Floyd made like 100 or something crazy. To watch a dude who was 50-0 in his career, unsanctioned, it's just an exhibition fight, but just to come in here and duke it out with some kid everybody been watching on YouTube.
It's funny.
Like, that's where we're at now, and not in boxing, but just in entertainment. Yeah. And people have to accept the fact that this is a new way to make money. These kids are going to exploit it to the fullest, as they should. I don't knock nobody getting their bread. But to the boxing purists, y'all gotta stop getting mad. This is not boxing. It's not boxing, bro. It is entertainment. Yes. I think moving forward, when you look at where entertainment's gonna go next, I don't know. You're gonna see a lot more spin-off platforms of people trying to find ways to market celebrities fighting. We just saw Lamar Odom knock out one of the Backstreet Boys' little brothers or something like that. And I remember thinking, why is this 7-foot dude beating up on this little 5'6" dude? You know why? Because somebody gonna pay him to do it. Because somebody, damn it, want to watch. Because I stopped scrolling like, damn it,
you watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we do it, damn it, to be entertained. I love it. I have no problem with it. I can't wait to see more of it. I hope, damn it, we get Hollywood celebrities who you would never think would pick up some gloves, get into the ring, and knock each other out.
I tell you like this, bro.
MTV started it, by the way, with Celebrity Deathmatch way back when they had the little clay figures. Now that shit is happening in real life.
I just learned this, man. Sometimes you just don't even have to have an opinion on something. You know what I'm saying? Like just part of like living life. You just understand to watch something and just watch the entertainment of it and to watch it from a good space. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. I hope this works out for those guys. Like that's where I'm at with life.
Right? Just like, wow, I'm not mad at nobody. Do it. Y'all want to knock each other's heads off? I want to watch. Okay, speaking of knocking each other's heads off, there was a UFC fight last night. Big fight. It was Conor McGregor, Dustin Porier, part 3. Conor won the first one, Dustin won the second one. And this was their third matchup that everyone was anxious to see. Conor, somewhere in between his first and second fight with Porier, made $300 million, as you mentioned, fighting Floyd Mayweather. In just that fight, I don't know what else he made.
He sold his whiskey brand, Proper 12 or something like that.
Yeah, Proper number 12. That made him some money too, huh?
$800 million.
This is why it's called reality check, because he's gonna tell you about the check part. Yeah. These boys getting money. Yeah. Conor getting money. So Conor's getting all this money. He comes back to the UFC fight game. Honestly, I don't know why he didn't need the money. I think it was just pride and having that, hey, I got a reputation. I don't ever want anyone to think that I can't still do this. And maybe he wanted to, I don't know, re-energize himself and his platform to make some more money. And was like, I still got to be a fighter.
I think there's somewhere, so if I fought my whole life, if I've trained my whole life, last 10, 15 years, and I've done it for free, somebody can say, hey man, you can come out here and just get a check for $30 million to go brawl with somebody you've done this twice with. I would go do it, no matter how much money I had.
Right. So it's still something you love to do.
Here we go, man. We need to quit talking like, sometimes when we get to athletes, we tend to talk like $5 million isn't a lot of money. $10 million isn't a lot of money. $30 million is $30 million is a lot of fucking money.
Tons of fucking money.
For $5 million.
I'll fight Ty right now for 30. Ty, I'll knock the glasses off for $30 million. I love you. For real. I'll pick you up.
No, but we act like
I'll kick you something, but I'm knocking your whole shit.
He made $500 million. Like, why would he go fight for 30? Motherfucker, $30 million.
Because it's $30 million.
So like
he used to fight for free.
Yeah, my point. And so you won't be able to do this. And so when people start talking like that, I just be like, man, first of all, you sound delusional. You sound crazy. And everybody had the opportunity to make the money that these guys make just by going there brawling. And so, like, I go like this, right? so I've not made these guys money, but once you become financially situated, there's a nastiness that the edge to want to make it comes off of you. You know what I'm saying? And so
it's not that you get comfortable, that gritty hunger,
it's always gone.
I'm willing to do anything to get here. You don't have that edge anymore because you've already done it and you've made it.
Bro, it's gone. Do you still have the same skills to fight? Yes.
Sure.
But fighting is more mentality than anything.
Man, ain't that the
You know
truth?
what I'm saying? Playing football, man, you can go play a game. We can run. We can do anything. What separates people is mentality. You know what I'm saying? And so, dude didn't stick his head in there. He didn't stick his shoulder in there when he was coming on the ISO block. Dude didn't risk his body. Dude pulled up and our dude ran out of bounds rather than.
So the Dallas Cowboys called me tomorrow and I signed. And the first day of practice, we doing an inside run. And damn it, the O-line, that big O-line they got, runs a damn, power play at me. and I see my tackle come down. And I see that guard coming at me. I'm not sticking my face in there at this point in my life. Ole. Oh, they got through it. But yeah, I get that mentality. Yeah, so you lose a little bit of that edge.
When I looked at him and just even when he's fighting, I think like entertainment, I enjoy doing it. I'm going to go collect the check. We brawl it out. We duke it out. I do want to win. But am I fighting this dude like I'm trying to become, like, I'm not fighting him from a place like I'm trying to let y'all know who Conor McGregor is.
So because of that, fight number 2, Porier knocks him out, right? Because Portier's still hungry. Porier didn't make no 5, 6, 7, 800 million. And he's at that point in his life where he's still trying to get it. Mm-hmm. Fight 3 was last night, and I'll just save everybody the suspenseful drama. McGregor running his mouth like he always do. He's great at promoting the fight. He's going to talk shit, generate all types of anger and feelings around him. That's guys like him, Floyd, that's why they get such box office numbers, because they know how to promote. They know how to piss people off and make people feel some kind of way. Whether they love them or they hate them, they feel some kind of way. They're good at being polarizing. He goes out there, and early in the fight, I thought Porier was winning, by the way. And then Conor goes to pivot to throw a punch, ankle snaps, fight over with. Porier wins by TKO, which Conor was pissed about because he wanted it to be a doctor stoppage because he felt like that's for pride, right? He's on the ground running his mouth talking about Portier's wife while the fight's going off. And then later on tweets, you need people like me. He's the ultimate villain. He still made his money. But do you think at this point in his life and his career, this might just be, that was his last kind of, F you, I'm out? Because I don't know that he's going to want to get back in the ring after a broken leg.
I think just like, even like when he go back and reevaluate it, he may have said to himself, did I need to do that? No. Did I want to do it? Did I benefit something? Yes. And he had his reasons for doing it. But like, I don't know, you get a feeling where just somebody's like I'm over this, like I'm done with this. I couldn't see myself getting in like rigorous fighter, grungy, dirty, musty, fight you in my face shape. That takes a lot. You know what I'm saying?
You got to go to a different place up here to even get to that point.
And it's hard when you leave it and you get into Rolls Royces and you flying private and it's 5-star meals everywhere. Usually when you have that mentality, bro, it's like the whole thing encompasses it. That's why I respect Floyd so much, because he's made so much, but he stayed in that space of grit, hungry, top level, super skill,
and never let the people down on fight day. Always showed up, and his skill set, his sharpness, he just consistently, his boxing brand is what it is.
Here we go. So, but to your point, I hate to say the end of people because it's not the end of him. Just him fighting in that capacity. I think if he can go get some exhibition entertainment money,
he'll do it.
He'll do that, you know what I mean? But I don't think that you so it just call it what it is, right? At some point you have to look at guys and say, okay, this is their era. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not better than him. It's hard for athletes to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Conor's pride and that bravado won't let him just assess where he truly is in his career and his life and look at it and go, yeah, you know what? Poirier is better than me right now. I might not be that guy of the UFC. And Dana White, by the way, UFC, commissioner, owner, whatever, he's got to look at Conor differently here on out going, okay, Conor's still a big draw for us, but I got to start finding my next golden goose. I got to find that next guy with that, whether it be Israel Adonijay or one of these up-and-coming guys, Sean O'Malley, who looked great yesterday. But you got to find somebody that's going to promote your sport. Because Conor was the guy the last 6 years.
He was the LeBron of UFC.
Boom.
To get that, you have to have Floyd was boxing. Tom Brady is the NFL.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's a little bit more casual than those guys, but his championships did the talking. But in order to promote the brand of the UFC, I think people loves the brash talking fighter. You
need one big personality.
Yeah, you need
a
big personality.
You need just a nutcase where everyone's like, I just love to either hate him or I love it.
You're watching him to lose or win.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so they need that. Ronda Rousey for years was kind of that for them, even though she didn't have that personality. It was just the fact that she was so dominant. Amanda Nunes super dominant, but you needed Conor McGregor because he tweeted, he said, you need people like me. Yeah, we get it. You that nutcase people that just, I want to see you either get your head punched in or I'm rooting for you, but damn it, I'm gonna watch.
Yes.
So that part of, I think, UFC is starting to shift, and they're gonna have to find their next guy like that. And I think it might be Israel Adonijay because he's so skilled, so talented, probably the best at his weight class, and he's got a little bit of personality. Before we get out of here, there was somebody else that fought last night, a former NFL player, one of our footballer brothers. And it didn't go his way. It didn't really go well at all. Y'all remember Greg Hardy, former defensive end he was a former defensive end for the Carolina Panthers, also for the Cowboys. He had some off the field stuff, whatever, got back on the field with the Cowboys, still looked pretty damn good, and decided I'm gonna get into MMA. Won a few fights, people still weren't taking him seriously, won a couple more, took one tough loss, and then last night, man, he got rocked early in the fight by looked like a big Samoan boy, beat the hell out of him and hit him in the face, got knocked unconscious. Ref had to protect him. Ref let him get one more shot in and then protected him. And then Buddy was drinking out of his shoe beer. That was wild. But what was your first thought when you seen Greg get knocked out?
I mean, obviously, I didn't really have a stark feeling about it, right? But I just say this, right? 9th to 12th grade, I was in the boxing ring, right? And I was training Southside boxing. That's where Kelly Pavlik and other fighters had come from.
Yeah.
And I used to get in there and I would see play this. I would experience what these guys experience firsthand, be a sparring. And even when I came to here to Columbus, I used to go to a place over here in Dublin. Just because you're good at football and just because you're tough at football, and I'm not saying anything bad about Greg Hardy because I've never watched the highlights of him get knocked out, but I've never seen his skill set. But I remember I used to go to the gym and I would look at a guy physically and I would say, man, this guy, I'll whoop his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Just because you're a better physical specimen.
Just because I'm physically better than him. I play football real well. I'm athletic. I can move. I can whatever. Boxing has a skill set. Boxing has timing. Boxing has technique. Boxing has pivoting off of certain feet. Boxing has staying out of range. Boxing has rhythm. Boxing has rhythm steps.
And it has its own mentality.
Boxing has its mentality. Boxing is not just I'm big and brunt and I'm gonna just hit you because I can fucking swim move a 300 defensive lineman.
Different skill set.
It's a different skill set. I can get in front of you and I can throw feints at you just to see what you're gonna do to set you up, to hit you or to straight right you, hook you, get out of the way, get off the line, and punch you in your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying Greg Hardy wasn't prepared for that, but I'm just saying these guys who we sometimes look at like they slouches, these guys may be physically, they may not be as physically astute as you, but these dudes know how to fucking fight. And there's just some dudes who know how to crack.
Dog.
Right? I'm telling you, there's dudes who just know how to crack. They have timing, they quick, they twitchy.
They're fighters.
They're fighters.
They're fighters, man. Listen, my first thought, I'm on the couch, I'm watching this, and I see him get slept, and my first thought was, yo, he just got knocked out by a dude built like a truck driver. I already know it's a different world because I talk a lot of shit from the couch. Like when I see you, especially I'll see a UFC heavyweight come in, and he'll look kind of out of shape or whatever, be some 6'2", 300-pound dude. I'm like, man, I'm in good shape. I'm 6'6", 270. I still feel like I look decent. I get in there and do something. No, the hell I won't. Because these boys are trained.
It's a different mentality. How about this? When I hit the heavy bag consistently for a period of time, when I hit mitts for a period of time, when I've sparred and you're in that space, I'm more aggressive to my woman. I'm more aggressive to my kids. I'm more aggressive to everybody around me.
Because your energy's different.
Your energy's different. These dudes have been locked into this space for years, right? One of the most perfect examples, bro. Look at Mike Tyson. When you're on goal, when you're attacking, when you're fighting, when you're sacrificing the way that these dudes do, that's a different mentality than...
He boxed last year, didn't he? Like, he was still fighting recently.
That's a different mentality. Like, oh, man, let me rush the quarterback and take playoff. Let me rush... You know, it's different. So, with all due respect, I'm not talking down on Greg Hardy.
No, I give him credit for getting in the ring with these boys, not having that same upbringing of training, taking that football skill set and being like, I want to try to develop a new skill set. The fact that he made it to the UFC and made it on a big time card tells me he got some shit to him. Yes, but you went up against a boy that does this.
Man, I tell you this. I wouldn't want to get in that ring with any of those jokers. You know what I'm saying?
No, you couldn't pay me to get punched in the face that hard. You could pay me. It's going to be a lot, though.
Here we go. I'm here to watch like everybody else.
In the end theme and all of this is we will not look away from a fight.
Nah.
I'm going to watch somebody get their ass whooped. Listen, that's been Reality Check with Reese and Rich. That's Reese, I'm Rich. Can't wait to see more. Can't wait to talk to you guys, get your feedback on everything. By the way, check us out, like, subscribe, everything you see. We do it for you guys. We got some more coming. We got a lot cooking. And we're going to have some guests down the road, too, but we're going to have some fun. That's it.